India, the previously called Sone ki Chidiya, is slated to take off again. This time, its wings will have added advantage of being technologically sophisticated. Piyush Goyal, the hero of India's economic revival, has categorically expressed his confidence in India's potential to emerge as an economic powerhouse over the next few decades. Hi and welcome to TFI English, the national socio-political analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Piyush, and in this video I will explain how Piyush Goyal's dream of a $30 trillion economy can be realized through 5 sectors. Piyush Goyal's calculations in the wake of India remaining the fastest growing major economy in the world indicate that it is not tough for us to reach the magical figure of $30 trillion economy. During his address to the exporters and other textile industry stakeholders in Tripur, Goyal said, "In another 9 years, that is 18 years from now, we will be about a $13 trillion economy. In another 9 years after that, that's 27 years from now, we will become a $26 trillion economy. Then obviously, in 30 years from now, confidently we can expect that Indian economy will be a $30 trillion economy." Currently, the business environment in the country is stable. Companies are flocking to India to establish their factories. However, 30 years is a long time, and continuing with previously established methods of increasing gross domestic output is not going to work. There is a need for change, and India can achieve wonders by building its capacity in 5 specific sectors. The dominance of semiconductor chips is going to define how countries all around the world fare in comparison to their rivals. From your mobile phones to electric vehicles, semiconductors are the backbone of everything driven by the flow of current. To reduce its dependence on imports, the Modi government has given incentives worth more than 230,000 crore rupees to industries. PLI scheme alone has contributed towards investments worth 1.53 lakh crore rupees. Israel's ISMC lab is investing $3 billion in a chip-making plant in Karnataka. Tata and Vedanta are other prominent ones in the race. Countries like the US and the UAE are ready to contribute with their technological know-how and finances respectively. On the backbone of these initiatives, India's semiconductor industry is slated to value at around $64 billion in 2026. Agriculture is the backbone of the Indian economy. Ideally, India should have moved ahead with the development of other sectors as its food security was already ensured decades ago. But food exports are an indication of soft power and strong economic fundamentals. Henceforth, the sector should keep expanding. But efficiency is still a big cause of concern. The agriculture sector lacks modernization. Using technologies like modern storage systems, algorithm-driven crop selection, drones and satellites in the agriculture sector will not only help in efficient crop production and increasing output, but it can also help in curbing the problem of disguised unemployment in the sector. To solve the problem, in 2020, PM Modi launched 1 lakh crore rupees agriculture infrastructure funds for encouraging innovation and entrepreneurial activities in the agriculture sector. Along with them, FDI investment is also growing in the sector. Agri-tech startups are a new buzzword, but they haven't been able to achieve even 1% of their potential height. The government is doing everything possible. Now private sector needs to jump in. Traditionally, every country's space sector was driven by government-funded organizations. But after a fixed period, these countries opened the floodgates for private sector as well. This gave birth to a term called space economy. Naturally, it becomes imminent for India to jump into the race. Unfortunately, we contribute only 2% to global space economy, which does not reflect well on any country wishing to be a global superpower. Other than rocket and satellite launch, we do not do much on this front. The Department of Space can't cater to every demand on its own, despite its 13,700 crore rupees budget. In the last few years, the Modi government, along with ISRO, has brought some changes to increase private participation. In 2019, New Space India Limited was established to transfer ISRO's legacy of technological efficiency to a private sector. The government also launched InSpace to make it easier for private companies to use Indian space infrastructure. According to an estimate, India's commercial space tech market has the potential to clock $77 billion in the market share by 2030. 101 startups working towards accelerating the development tells us that we are on that course. All the aforementioned sectors are incomplete without an algorithm. AI and machine learning are the future. According to an estimate, if harnessed properly, data and AI could contribute $450 to $500 billion to India's $5 trillion economy by 2025. Retail, healthcare, consumer goods, and agri-tech, among few others, are set to immensely benefit from them. The long-term prediction is more promising. As per a report by Accenture, by 2035, artificial intelligence can lift our country's income by 15%. On this part, the government is fulfilling its responsibility. During the G20 meeting in Osaka, PM Modi emphasized on digital economy and artificial intelligence. His strategy relies on 5 I's that stand for inclusiveness, indigenization, innovation, investment infrastructure, and international cooperation. If there is any sector that can internalize Make in India along with providing jobs to millions of skilled and semi-skilled workers, then it is the manufacturing sector. Currently, we contribute only 2% of world's manufacturing output. The sector is bogged down by low investment in technology and skilled manpower. To increase it, the government has taken some initiatives like 100% FDI through RBI in the sector. Cutting the size of bureaucracy in the sector is another such big change. Additionally, FTAs are also being signed by taking due care to not harm local capital goods. India's target is to have 7.5 lakh crores worth of turnover in capital goods by 2025. If somehow we are able to achieve it, it will not only increase the manufacturing share in total GDP, but will also provide a huge boost to development-hungry policy makers. India has everything in its bucket to achieve the target set by Piyush Goyal. It has strong economic fundamentals and political will. A young workforce is an added advantage. If somehow we turn out to be failure, then it is only us to blame. As global investment bank Credit Suisse aptly called it, it is India's game to lose.